T-Mobile out with better than expected results and lifting key areas of its guidance. Let's get right to the man of the hour, T-Mobile CEO Mike Sievert. Mike, good to see you.
Thanks, Oz. Always great to be here on the floor of the exchange.
Yeah, totally. Well, normal day, and I would say a normal day for your earnings. Another beat and raise. Take us through some of the highlights of this quarter.
You know, our strategy is remarkably consistent, and you saw that that's delivering remarkably consistent performance. Another quarter of industry-leading growth, not only in customers, but in financials. I think best in the industry on service revenues, best in the industry by a mile on postpaid service revenues, which is where all the value is created, double-digit EBITDA growth, and of course, cash flows up over 90% year over year on our way to this run rate cash flow we've been talking about. So we're just in a great spot, and it shows that when you have the best network and the best value at the same time, customers respond.
How would you characterize the competitive landscape right now?
It's stable. You know, it's been remarkably consistent, but it's also competitively intense. Customers are winning. You know, they're getting 3 times more data than 5 years ago, 4 times faster speeds, and only paying a fraction of what they used to pay. They're getting better deals on phones than they ever had before, and yet the industry is also doing well. Certainly T-Mobile, you know, delivering cash flow performance that's all-time highs, $4 billion this quarter alone. So this is the 5G dividend. This is customers and businesses winning at the same time as a healthy, vibrant, but intensely competitive industry.
So you don't need to discount.
Well, you know, what's happening is customers are actually moving up our rate card voluntarily. Our Go 5G Plus rate plan that we launched this year as part of our Phone Freedom Un-carrier offer is the most popular one we offer. So think about that. The highest end rate plan we offer is also our most popular. Customers come to T-Mobile because they want this network. So they buy the offers that give them the best of it.
Talk to us a little bit about the finances of the company. So operating profits grew faster than sales. How does that continue to happen in a company like yours? Is that just the byproduct of the Sprint acquisition still playing out?
Well, it certainly has been helpful. You know, synergies, run rate synergies, about $8 billion will be achieved by next year. And so that's really been a fantastic story. But what's happening is, of course, we're attracting some of the best customers in the industry. And as we grow, we get more and more operating leverage because some of the costs of a business like ours are fixed. And so it's really turning out to be a fantastic story for our investors. As you know, last quarter we announced our first ever dividend. We're in the middle of a broad shareholder return program that we think it can be about $60 billion over the planning horizon. And then, you know, dividends that should increase on a per share basis year after year. So we're in a great spot where this company has achieved a level of scale. But the thing is, the growth isn't slowing down. So we're affording our growth, you know, and delivering results at the same time.
Don't push me off camera when I ask you this question, Mike. So should you be viewed as a regular old telecom, paying dividends, steady cash flow, and maybe growing profits by low single-digit percentages?
Well, again, cash flows this quarter up 94% versus a year ago on the strength of the industry's best top-line growth, industry's best customer growth, and we're plunging into new areas. We again delivered this quarter more broadband growth, which is new for us, 6th quarter in a row of having the industry's leading broadband growth, more than AT&T, Verizon, Comcast, and Charter combined.
There's a lot coming at consumers in this country. The return of student loan payments, inflation is still omnipresent. Do you see those stresses in your customer base?
We sure do. And you know, it's not showing up in bad debt metrics. Customers are paying their bills reliably. In fact, T-Mobile customers pay their bills more reliably than our benchmark competitors. But there may be what's happening, maybe a bit of a flight to value. And that's great for T-Mobile. You know, we're here to serve customers at lower prices. But at the same time, we offer the best network. And you know, when customers are feeling the pinch, they may ask themselves, do I have the right provider? Can I have the best of both if I look at T-Mobile? And for a lot of customers, the answer is yes.
It's also a time of rising interest rates. We talk about this every single day on Yahoo Finance. Your company has debt. Does this environment change how you operate the company next year?
Yeah, it does. You know, we actually announced at the same time we announced our dividend program that we would move a little faster than planned to our target 2.5 leverage ratio. And we'll get there by next year from a 2.7 and change right now. So we're managing our balance sheet accordingly with the rising cost of interest. But remember, we also are moving into more and more investment grades. And so, you know, 2 years ago, we were not investment grade. We achieved investment grade and then got corporate family investment grade. So we're one of the only large issuers with a falling cost of capital because in the backdrop of a broad interest rate environment, we're getting more and more investment grade and realizing the benefits of that.
This has been a big year for company. I think I caught up with you around the All-Star game. You were out there marketing for that. What are some of your priorities for 2024 to the extent you can share them today?
Sure. It's all about growing customers, taking share. We have so many under-penetrated audiences. This quarter, Q3, was the first time ever we achieved switching leadership in smaller markets and rural areas.
That's people switching from other providers to you?
Yeah, share-taking leadership for the first time in the 40% of America that's not the top 100 cities. That's amazing. We started out as a distant number 4 there years ago, and now we were the number 1 share taker for the first time ever. Look at enterprise and government, where we have share in the low teens as opposed to 35-40% where you would expect us to be over time. We said we'd get to 20% by 2025, and we're right on track. So we have a number of places, broadband, where we're very under-penetrated relative to what the best network and the best value should get us to. And so growth, share taking, and pursuing those under-penetrated markets.
And look, Mike, next year we're going into election season. Do you think about that as a leader? And does that alter how you message things out there on the internet or online or on TV? Do you think about those things now?
Of course I do. It's interesting. Today it's so different than it was 5, maybe even 10, 5 years ago, in that companies are expected to be forces for change and forces for good. Business can be one of the great platforms for societal improvement. And so we take our responsibilities not just to shareholders, but to the broader community very seriously. This is going to be a crazy political season. Our company serves people from all walks of life, so you won't see us taking political stands, but occasionally you may see us needing to take a values or morals-based stand.
Lastly, before we let you go, this is a challenging time for leaders. Everything we've seen, of course, in the Middle East. Over the past 2 weeks, what has been your message to employees inside of T-Mobile when a lot of them, I'm sure, are uncertain about what may happen next and just in general?
Well, I did reach out to employees about the conflict and about the violence that we saw happen. And what I talked about was the chance for us to lift each other up. We are a community of people that support each other, listen to each other, and lift each other up. And some of our employees are hurting because of all this. This isn't just a news item for some of our employees. This affects families and loved ones and culture and heritage and tradition. And so being respectful, listening to each other, supporting each other as a small community is really important.
All right, T-Mobile CEO Mike Sievert, thanks for always being gracious with your time for Yahoo Finance. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next quarter.
Great to see you.
All right, appreciate it. Guys, back to you.